for so many people, the Free Press Marathon has become a family tradition. But 2020, the race was canceled. It's back on for 2021, but what is it going to look like? Joining us now on the MegaCast, Barbara Bennage. She is there, or Bennage. It's Bennage, right, Barbara?
It is, but Bennage sounds so much cooler.
Well, you can go ahead and adopt it if you want.
I do. Sometimes I call myself Babs Bennage just to be even cooler.
I like that. I like that. You're the executive race director for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. And Barbara, last year must have been so hard for you and your team because it takes a lot to put on one of these races.
Absolutely. I mean, we start, the year before even thinking about, 21 or 22. We're even thinking about 23 right now. So it takes years to plan it. Obviously, we work with Canada because we're an international race in the city of Detroit. So it takes a lot of planning, a lot of work. And so, yes, last year was a bit of a disappointment. We don't like to say that we were canceled. We just like to say that we went virtual instead of a live race. That keeps us within our, celebrating our 44th year this year. We didn't want to skip a year because we want to keep that momentum going.
I do like that because some people still ran it. They did it just virtually.
Yeah, absolutely. We had, over nearly 4,000 virtual runners from all across the world.
I always wonder about some of the virtual races. I've taken part in some of them, and it really is for the medal. It's all about the medal, Barbara. It's all about the medal. And I wonder, were there times faster, slower, or, maybe they didn't really do the whole thing?
That's okay. Get out there and move. That's all we really cared about. Obviously, we can't time a virtual race, and so it's on your honor to do the best that you can. It is lonely to run 26.2 miles, which is a full marathon, and even lonely to run a half marathon at 13.1. But if you have your friends and family out there, cheering you on and making it a good time for you, it all turns out in the long run, so to speak.
So what does it look like this year? Because some of the people that were signed up for 2020, if they decided
Mm-hmm.
not to take part of the virtual race, did their registration from last year transfer to this year?
In a roundabout way, they got a deferral code in which they have to re-register. So they using their deferral code, they have to re-register, which pretty much almost everybody has. So far, there's maybe 25% that has not yet. And plus we have the new runners. So this year we gave an option to sign up for a live in-person race or to run virtual for those that didn't want to join several thousand people at our start and finish line. So it's looking okay. We're optimistic. We've had meetings with city officials and health departments and our medical provider, Henry Ford Health Systems. And, as you know, the state is slowly opening back up. And so we are optimistic that in 5.5 months, we'll be able to run on the streets of Detroit and hopefully in Windsor.
And that's was going to lead me to my next question, because for so many people, the reason why they do like the Free Press Marathon is it is an international race. It's one of the few.
Yes.
And I could never do a full marathon, but I have done the half a couple times. The view going over the Ambassador Bridge is amazing because you run under, the sun is coming up, and the American flag and then the Canadian flag. What happens this year? Because as of right now, the border is closed.
Yes. So that your description just gave me goosebumps because it is an amazing view, and that's probably the best thing about our race. There's many, many, many things, but that is the ultimate. Watching that sunrise. Honestly, Ronnie, we don't know yet. We're waiting. The border says they're going to open May 24th, or look at opening on May 21st. If they don't, we'll move it to June. And at one point, we'll have to make a decision to run U.S. only. I know many people will be disappointed, but it's certainly not anything that we can control. And we can't control anything. We can't control the COVID. We can't control what the state is our city is telling us to do, or how the border is being affected. So a lot of things are out of our control. We'll just have to roll with the punches. But we are developing a U.S. only course, and I think people want to get back to running, and they want to get back to running in a normal, atmosphere with a lot of people and a lot of fanfare. And yes, it'll be disappointing if we cannot go into Canada, but I think we'll see different parts of Detroit that people may not have ever seen before.
Barbara Bennage with us here on the MegaCast. She's the executive race director for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. And Barbara, is it sold out registration?
I'm sorry, the
Is
question
it
again?
sold? Is the registration
Oh, no,
sold out? So there's
no,
still
no, no.
spots.
There are definitely still spots. And, we have several distances. We have a full marathon, a half marathon, a 5-person team relay, 5K, a 1 mile, and a kids run. So if you're not a marathoner, that's okay. Get out there and get moving and do the 1 mile, or challenge yourself to do a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. We just want you out there moving and experiencing the race in itself.
So one of the good things, it is in October. So we have a few months to
Hmm.
hopefully figure things out. And with the vaccinations, it looks like it's going to get better. Because am wondering too, if you are able to do it, be able to allow people to run over the border, are vaccinations going to be required? Do you anticipate?
We don't know that yet. There are some races that are requiring that. We haven't made that decision yet. It's a big decision to make, and it's a big. I mean, just because so everyone would have to be vaccinated. Any person that comes in contact with the race, not only just the runners, every volunteer, every staff member, every vendor. So we're working, looking at how to manage that. So we haven't made that decision yet, and I I encourage everybody to get vaccinated, and it is a personal decision. So we will continue to keep our participants informed of that and give plenty of time for them to get vaccinated, because it could take up to 6 weeks by the time, if you have the 2 shots, and you have to wait your 2 weeks afterwards. So we'll give people plenty of time, but we haven't made that decision yet.
So what's it like to try to plan this year's race? Do you have a flow chart going? Like, if this happens, we go this way. If this
Yes.
happens, we go this way.
Yes, we definitely do. We definitely do. And, and then working from home and not being able to be all together and brainstorm on a whiteboard it makes it that much more challenging. We have a very small team. So doing our Zoom calls or Teams calls on a daily basis, and meeting to talk about, okay, the what ifs, and what if we do this, and are we going to defer to 2022, or all these different scenarios that we have to come up with. It's challenging, but we've never faced this type of challenge before, so it's also a good learning experience.
So, Barbara, we know typically there's about what, like 19,000 runners?
26. 26,000
26,000?
in all
Wow.
of those distances. Yes. Hmm.
Okay. So with that, that's just the runners. How
Yes.
many people does it take? Because when you're talking about the volunteers, but also,
Hmm.
people don't understand that maybe have never been to the race. You have people standing on the sides of the roads, cheering people on, bands, and it really helps motivate all of the runners. What is that team like, and trying to get that side of this equation settled before the race?
Yeah. So are you talking like in this type of a year, or in a normal year? In
I
a
would,
normal year, in a
yeah, in
normal
a
year, we
normal
have
year, would
about
you be pretty
3,000.
much done with that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We don't really start recruiting volunteers in a normal year until June or July, even August, because people aren't thinking about what they're going to do in October. But obviously by October, it's all buttoned up, and all of our bands are in place, and all of our fluid stations are in place. And we use about 3,000 volunteers to do everything from our start and finish, and our, everything that's out on the course, including course marshals that tell you which direction to go to. This year, we really haven't started recruiting volunteers or anything yet, because we just don't know. what's happening. So, like I said, we are optimistic that we will have an in person race. Is it going to look different than a normal year? Yes. How? We don't know yet. Um, like, let's fluid stations, for instance, we have anywhere from 25 to 60 volunteers at a fluid station. We don't think we can do that and be socially distanced. So it may look completely different to the runner, but still working through all those logistics and details. And as like I said, as we continue our talks with the health department and Henry Ford Health System, we are developing plans and trying to going to make things work. Yes, it will look different.
Well, I know that I'm signed up for the half, and it will
Great.
not be hard for me to be socially distanced because I'm at the back. And
Yes.
when I did it before, you could put the saying on your bib. Mine was beat the bus.
Yeah.
Because if you're so
Excellent.
slow, the bus will come around and pick you up. So,
Yes, they will.
but still, when you're looking at doing a race of this size, and of course the great thing is it is outside, but on top of that it's very hard to socially distance that many people.
Yes, yes. So we're looking, we're looking at other races and how they are doing the corrals. And a corral is where you line up according to your pace. And Ronnie, you said you're in the back. I don't know if I totally believe that, but you line up according to your pace. And a corral can hold as many as 2,000 people. Obviously, that can't happen. So we're working at how many a corral can hold. How long will it take somebody to cross the start line, socially distanced? And we have time constraints too. So if we can go into Canada, we have to be through the Detroit Windsor Tunnel by 10 a.m. So we're looking at all of that. We don't think we're going to have 26,000 people or basically on Sunday, which is the marathon and half marathon and relay, it's about 20,000 that line up at the start line. The other 6,000 or so run on Saturday in the 5K and the other distances. I don't, I don't know if we can have 18,000 people on at the start line, but we hope we can. But again, we have the socially distance and how to work a wave and a corral and get people across that start line.
Barbara Bennage, Bennage with us here, executive race director for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. And Barbara, with that too, for people that maybe are hesitant, they want to sign up, they haven't done it yet, what do you want them to know?
Uh, go with your gut. Go with your gut. I mean, we will keep registration open as long as we can. If you're not comfortable registering now, that's okay. We get it. We get it. And then that's happening across the board in all of the running industry. Um, and if you wait for the information, we give an update every single month on what our plans are. It's kind of been an update that is we are still planning on an in-person race. And as we get closer, we have things that we have to purchase. For instance, medals, which is the most important thing to you. And
Right?
that those take some time to get here. So we have to make some decisions, and the decisions are going to come up very fast. But like I said, we are optimistically going to have a live race.
Well, fingers crossed that
Yes,
we're able to do so because it really is. It's a tradition, but I would anticipate too after the year that we've had, it could be a huge milestone for so many people to get out there and to run a race, even if it is the 5K.
absolutely.
Just get outside,
Absolutely.
run the
Hmm.
race.
Exactly. And we're watching other races. Boston, which is typically in April, they move to October, and Chicago is still planning on their October race, and the New York is planning on their November race. So we're watching all of these races and what they're doing and the protocols that they're taking. So we're a we're a very tight knit group of race directors in the industry. So we share ideas and we come together on meetings and talk about best practices. So we're up to speed on everything that we're doing.
I was really surprised to learn that this race used to actually start in Canada.
Yep. We started in Windsor. It used to be run on Belle Isle. 5 or 6 laps on Belle Isle in the early days. It used to be called the Motor City Marathon. And then the Detroit Free Press acquired it in 1978, and we wanted it to go international. And we wanted to use the bridge and the tunnel, and we weren't allowed to use the bridge at that time. So we bussed everybody over into Canada, and then we finished on, and we came through the tunnel, not use the bridge, and then we finished on Belle Isle. So we bussed everybody to Canada, and then from Belle Isle, we bussed everybody back to the parking lots near the Renaissance Center. I don't think the Renaissance Center was built at that time, but may have been. But that was the early days where it was just only a marathon. So we had, 4,000, 5,000 runners, and that was pretty good back in the day. So it started in Canada, and then we brought the bridge in about 20 years ago. Yeah, about 20 years ago, we brought the bridge in and started here in Detroit, and then obviously did the bridge and through the tunnel. Really, really unique.
It is so unique, and it's like I said, it's very sought after. So many people from across the country. I know the few times I've done it, you really do get people from all over that
We
come
do,
to
we
run
do.
this race. And so a lot of planning goes into it, and you and your team do an amazing job. What's this been like for you, though, this entire journey? Because are you a runner? Do you have a race background?
I have a little teeny tiny race background, basically running to have a mimosa afterwards. So I have I have never done a full marathon or a half marathon. I do the 10Ks or 5Ks, and my sport is golf, so that's where I take out my that's where my fun is. But being in the running industry since 1989 and doing this, I think this will be my 30th or so marathon that I've been involved in. It's been different. It's been, like I said, working from home and not being together, and trying to figure out what we're going to do. It's been different, challenging, but again, a great learning experience.
Well, I know if you guys can pull it off, if anyone can, you and your team can, and it will be
Thank you.
appreciated by so many people. And I will say, I started with the 5K. We did a
Mm-hmm.
5K a month for a year. And
Mm-hmm.
then I saw the medal. It was the ribbon, because the half marathon and marathon runners, they had the much cooler ribbon. And I was like, oh no, next year I'm running the
Yeah.
half. It's all about the medal.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
It-
is. The bling,
it-
as we call it. And our medal has won many awards for being very creative and really blinged out. It's pretty hefty, and it's a pretty nice medal. So I appreciate your support, though, Ronnie, and running us for a couple of years. That's great.
Well, I will say it's been a few years since I did it, and I swore I would never do it again. And here I am signed
Yep.
up, but
Yep.
then actually fell and fractured my ankle. So I'm a little late in
Oh,
training. So I really will be the back of the bus. So
that's okay. Just don't get on the bus.
right. So with that, but I'm with you on the mimosas afterwards. That is my
Yep.
post race celebration every year. Again, if people
Excellent.
want to still sign up, what's the cost? Because I know that typically it goes up at certain points in time.
Yeah. Yeah, you asked me a tricky one because I don't have all of those embedded in my head. I want to say about 110 for the full marathon and maybe 100 for the half, but don't quote me on all that. But if you want more information, you can go to freepmarathon.com. That's FREEP marathon.com, and it has the link to registration and all of our prices and all of our information, including COVID-19 updates.
Yeah, you it looks like you got the prices right. So you're good to go
Ah,
there.
whew.
So everyone, thank you again for everything that you do, because it really is a tradition and puts us on the map.
Yeah.
Barbara Bennage with us. She's the executive race director for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. We appreciate your time.